Welcome back to Now TV Canada, and I am just a YouTube channel, aka Future Productions. I am the president, CEO, and host, Jennifer, as you all know. So I've been making these videos on this channel since 2011, when YouTube had it so that everybody could make money. And then some of us got some payout, and then somewhere as we continue making videos and earning money, they cut everybody off. So I still make videos, but I haven't been getting paid for all the money that I've made for all the videos I've made in all those years. So I'm trying to figure out, how to get payback, because I've invested too much of my time, too many years, too many videos. I have more videos and have had more years doing this before podcasts became a thing, right? I was there first because I'm older. I've been doing this stuff longer. I go all the way back to childhood with people like Christian Slater, Jason Bateman, Justine Bateman, Michael J. Fox, Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, Drew Barrymore, Brendan Fraser. I was on this side of the camera learning everything in film school to be one of the best up there with Stephen King and Alfred Hitchcock and Steven Spielberg and Quentin Tarantino. So what I wanted to do with this video here is sort of lay something to rest. I just sort of want to make a peace with something, because in the history of these videos on this YouTube channel, if anybody's been watching through this for years, and a lot probably have, because I travel a lot, so people know me, and then when I leave, they miss me. So I had bought a big, huge candy bar. It was chocolate from Laura Secord or one of those fancy chocolate places. And my goal had been to give it to Tom Welling. And it was part of the little journey of the series of working together with other stories I had in my head beyond Smallville, which seems to be where he's decided to get himself stuck in Smallville. I have a career and an experience of life that is much broader and goes beyond television. I'm not a one-hit wonder. And so I bought this chocolate bar, and I had bought this little white chocolate rose, which now has aged so much as bubbles on it and stuff, so you can't eat it. But I realized I bought a white rose last year for Valentine's for all the characters that he's ever played. It's never received anything romantic, not a poem, not a homemade dinner, or a homemade dessert, or a rose. And I got the inspiration from the podcast that they started making after I had all these years of my life wasted around the work I had already started and or finished, and then continued writing new stuff, etc., to buy a white rose last year, an inspiration over his getting a DUI for drinking and driving. Anyways, I know he's here this weekend right now in Vancouver, and I'm deliberately not in Vancouver for the event so we can have that space, because of everything that's tragically gone wrong for these 10 years. But in spite of me still having this white rose and one bottle of red wine and one bottle of white wine, and the red is for the dedication and history of Bruce Willis and the movie Red, which is a movie I have seen more than once. I don't often have time to watch movies more than once because I'm too busy still becoming the person I'm supposed to be. And so it doesn't generate much opportunity to rewatch stuff. But Red is something I enjoyed much. And of course, the second one. And I'm waiting to age my bottles of wine, inspired by Robert Redford's movie career, where I heard that scene in the movie where he's like, I don't drink anything less than 12 years old. So that's what's happening. My friend made a batch of red wine for herself and surprised me with one of the bottles, and then she completely drank all the rest of it over time. And so this is the literal only bottle of red. And if Bruce Willis knew, he'd be like, let's get the cameras rolling. We got make another movie about that bottle of wine. And same with Robert Redford, where you got to go on another hike in the woods, take another video shot of an owl I went and saw last year that did the dance for me and then flew off, and that had a terrible angle shot of the owl running away, and it was an epic fail. So we got to go on a hike and do it again, find the owl with my magic, and have the owl come back and do the dance and fly off for me again. So the white one was given to me as a gift for a job well done in security at a condo where there was stuff happening, and they're both aging at different times. And I decided to blow the whistle on the work around A Baker's Dozen, which is part of the installment series that I've had a wishbone for since I was a very young person, for the Cheaper by the Dozen series. I'm still here. Steve Martin is still here, and he did a reunion with everybody else but Tom Welling. So they're all still alive and well, and it's still a possibility for us to still do another movie where I can be in it and be the character I had worked my life building towards. And I literally have all the skills today. I am a support worker. I work with kids with autism. I teach swimming. I do skate lessons. I can be a coach and a supervisor. I study ministry, so I can be called a pastor. I've got all these certifications, and I cook well. And I wanted to do like a little mini series of cookbooks, which I've started in real life. But in the movie, the character goes on a book tour like his mom, and then the dad and him are alone with a bunch of additional kids, not just his kids from all of his divorces and so on. So I'm open to other people auditioning for the part of Charlie Baker, because we can still make a third installment and call it A Baker's Dozen, which has been my dream since I was first inspired by the fight scene in the driveway where Charlie Baker was telling his dad that he's not moving anywhere. He's staying right here because his life is here and he's settled, and that's the end of the discussion. And he gets in the car, pulls out and drives away. And I saw this ray of sunshine. I thought, I'm going to get this person in church and do a sacrament, and he's going to take all of his vows, and he's going to go to the temple, and he's going to get an endowment, a patriarchal blessing. And well, he's just going to thank God for the glory of being saved. But it didn't work out that way. That said, the story can still have some fun with the priority of family first, after God, or family and God being, equally important, and church and all these things, praying at the table in the story because everybody falls away. And then somehow I'm like this magic piece of the puzzle that brings everybody back together. So the story is called, this pilot project is called The Mystery Box. And the person's like, oh, so this is it. Can I keep it? And this would be the small version of the mystery box. And the whole point of this mystery box is that Charlie finds the mystery box. It's hiding behind the wine and stuff, a wine opener, and in the china cabinet in the living room in the corner, because he's so tall, he's so big. He's like, what's this one chore I can do for her to help her, because she's so important and so busy. In their reunion, after all these years of being apart from each other, having not seen each other, and getting more serious on where things are going to go. And he sees this box after he's decided he'd do one chore. And it's the one chore nobody would ever do. Guys don't do this chore. It's the one thing they don't think to do. Like, they wouldn't want to wear an apron, and they don't want to walk around with a duster. But he chooses to do the dusting. So he literally goes and gets an apron, and he's dusting the house. And of course, the china cabinet and the windows and the shelves, they need dusting. And so the point of the mystery box is that Charlie was smart enough to, when he finds the box, his face fears, oh, freeze, I'm in so much trouble. I'm a dead man. And his dad walks in, looks at the box, backs up and says, uh-oh, now you've done it. Let me know if you survive. And he's like, what on earth made you decide to do the one chore no man would ever do to help this woman that you love out? What in tarnation would make you think to do the dusting? But it was the perfect solution. Oh, why he'd never do dusting, so I could hide it and it would be fine. But he did. He dusted the house. And so we get to this where he's in a tizzy, in a panic. What do I do? So he takes the little box and he puts it in a bunch of different size boxes. And then he does this thing that leads to the pile I'm about to share with you guys. But what I'm going to do with you guys is open the box, because odds are mathematically this video reaching anybody that can get this video to him, so he can watch this video in the 10 years that just got lost between us, never mind the lifetime career of what was going on in the background through Smallville, when I was trying to get to the show, where I was just looking to write episodes and do guest appearances, or even before, in this Baker world, before he married Jamie, from the beginning, the catastrophe has led to all these other romantic, spiritual importances that I can still use in my work. But inside this box is a ring, as everybody would know. Now, this ring is not actually the Charlie Baker ring. This is actually just a prototype for Clark. The Clark ring for saving his life from all the enemies forever, kind of like Hercules, but it doesn't look like a Hercules ring, and you don't put your hand up in the air and God doesn't strike it with lightning. So in here is a piece of paper. And on the piece of paper was a little note and a scripture from the Bible, Ecclesiastes 10:2. And I'll read that for you guys. Ecclesiastes 10:2. A wise man's heart is to his right, a fool's is to his left. It's a note to Clark. It says, it's only a prototype, Clark. Don't get excited. It's not engraved for that reason yet. Please let me know if it glows. So Janet, in my Smallville reunion movie, was secretly doing something for him without their being around each other, because she was keeping track of this history of Clark being Superman, saving people and doing things. And then he's erasing people's memories so they don't remember him and know him as Superman, because he stupidly thought the instructions his real father in the Ice Fortress and what his adopted father, Jonathan, were telling him was that he's supposed to keep secrets. Never unveil the truth. Never let them know who you are. Never be yourself. Right? And be very careful about love and family and marriage, basically wait forever. But anyway, that aside, I don't have the money until I make a movie to make the Charlie Baker ring, which I have, which is still going to cost a fortune to make, even if I was just making the prototype of that ring, because I have changes I want to make on that prototype of that ring. But instead of destroying the mystery of that, I just wanted to show people what the kryptonite ring looks like. It's got heart and EKG. And I don't know if you guys can see any of that glow, the green. But it glows green. It's the kryptonite in the ring. And I have other ones for me, and different colors. This one has the silver around it. Titanium, right? A symbol of forever. Now in the finished copy, with the right money, I'm hoping that I can get the EKG to move, and that between the two fingers and the rings that are wearing them, you'll be able to see the hearts beating. So you'll always know the other person's okay. They also need to be made waterproof. But I thought I could use it for the inspiration of the mystery box for Charlie Baker. So I put it in here. I sent the other one that had the gold stuff to the LA comic thingy that they did in a different box from Vancouver with all kinds of written material, and the mystery box pilot information was in that. But the people at the LA event where they did their first live podcast obviously kept it. So I never got it back, and they obviously never gave it to Tom. So I wanted to just make sure people know that I still want to do a mystery box version, aka Baker's Dozen movie, and find somebody who's willing to step up to the plate to see if they can step into his shoes. And if you look at the world of actors out there, there probably are people who can say, okay, give me a shot and I'll try it. And then we can do like this audition scene, casting scene, where you got these different guys stepping in for his role, trying to impress me and Steve Martin to play Charlie Baker, so I could be Jennifer Baker, the new Mrs. Baker. And it's a very honorable thing when you get to play yourself and just use your own name in a movie. It doesn't happen all the time, and it usually takes a person a really big career. You got to do a lot of work. And in my lifetime of videos and photos and writing, I have earned the confidence and the skills to know that I can write myself into things and be able to use my name. Just like I wrote myself into Charlie Brown a long, long time ago as the redhead girl, and Gypsy. Anyways, I'm going to read the mystery box. And you heard the scripture and stuff, and you've seen the prototype ring sneak peek. I would like to make the official real rings for both the stories for the two different characters that go a separate way, inspired by writing this for a contest. So the little excerpt at the beginning sort of goes with what I just said. The use of the right hand is used in reference to a verse in the Bible, Ecclesiastes, where it says, a wise man's heart is to his right, but a fool's is to his left. So they both chalked their experiences up to using the wrong hand in which to find the love they were in search of. As for that saying we all know so well, where the third time is the charm, well, sometimes they're not right. Maybe it takes 4 times to get it right every once in a while. So in this joke, Charlie Baker has to get divorced 3 different times and he ends up with like 10 kids. I've had 2 because I'm not crazy, right? And 29 and 16, 13 years apart, I've had it pretty easy. I only have to raise 1 at a time, basically. I had lots of freedom, easy life, clean home, travel, work. I'm good. I'm not into a chaos and noise. And so it's an interesting reunion because I'm that girl he never got over, who kept falling in love with again as a kid. And these pictures when we were growing up, and his dad knew my parents, and eventually we would meet just through transition of school in the neighborhood. And he'd want to come over to my school and offer to carry my books and help me home and then pick me up. And then, of course, when he got into my school, because I'm older, we'd only get like a year together or something, and then I'd move on to the next school. And he never asked me to go steady, never official, but we'd watch each other's sports and extracurricular activity and have a good time. And everybody kept scratching their head and wondering, but I was like this cool girl at the cool door, piercings, blue hair, heavy metal, I had this royal lineage, this history I had to uphold, had to be, cool, just right punk. And he was always intimidated by no matter how beautiful I was just popular and cool. And he wasn't that kind of both of those things. And he couldn't bring himself to ask me to go steady and give me his sweater or his football jacket or whatever. And in my Smallville reunion movie, he never took anything off the set. He's left it, everything there. And I realized, we could do a replay in that situation as well with the character, where that jacket can then be given to the Janet character. And because of his size, that jacket's not going to fit just any size woman. But I can proudly stand here and say that you can see that I'm not tiny. So that coat would fit me. It would be good for what I'd be using it for. And it would be a nice moment. Snoopy would be happy and proud. So maybe I'll still get the jacket no matter what happens with his career in his TV one-hit wonder world. He was lucky enough to be in a Steve Martin movie. So without further ado, we'll see what Steve Martin does. If I can get this mystery box pilot to Steve Martin, and where we can go from there. So then there's the picture that inspires what I said happens with the small box. So without further ado, it starts with the big bang after I just filled you guys in. And it's Charlie going, "What's in the box?" And she says, "I don't know," I replied. He continued, "Well, then what are you waiting for? Why don't you open it?" Of course, I had a witty, quick, and obvious answer. Well, if I did that, then it wouldn't be a mystery box anymore. I would know what is in it, and then I'd have to do something about it after seeing what it is. And he replied, "Well, what's wrong with that?" Tilting my head just ever so much, I looked at Charlie with the exaggerated look on my face that told him the answer to that should be obvious before I spoke. Because, Charlie, what if I don't like it? What if I don't like what's inside this mystery box? Right now, at this very moment, I'm feeling good. I'm happy and excited. And I'm thinking and feeling that somebody somewhere loves me and is thinking about me and decided to send me this. But what if I'm wrong? He put, oh, never mind. I'll just finish reading the story. Hopefully you guys get it. Charlie bravely continued his side of the conversation. Well, how are you supposed to know if you're right about someone somewhere thinking about you and sending you this box with something inside it that shows you how much they care about you if you don't open it. The longer you wait, the longer you keep yourself in suspense. The worse you are making things based on your imagination and hypothesis of what's in the box. If it isn't something good for you to like, why on earth would you want to put yourself through all that discomfort and strain on your heart and emotions? Wouldn't it be much better to just know what's in it and be free of the anxiety and be able to move forward from there on what to do next? And besides, I'm dying to know what's in the mystery box too. What if what's in the box is not just for or about you? He ended with. Well, how about I start with the fact that I'm the only person that lives here at the address this mystery box was delivered to. And there is nothing written on the box at all. It's just a plain white box. So again, this tells us that it had to be personally delivered, meaning the person who delivered it knows that I live here and was confident, certain that I would be the one to get it. And if it was something they wanted me to know about, that was urgent for me to know, then some sort of hint or obvious sign or answer would have been written on it or left with the box letting me know to open it right away. Yes. Okay. So this is taking place in her home. Scratching his head, Charlie continues with, it seems I am losing this conversation with you, with your thoughts and theories about the white mystery box delivered to you. Badly. I'd better rethink my battle with you in the box and find a new, improved, and better angle to appeal to you with about this item of business. Of course, with me and my big mouth, I can never turn down a challenge, so I piped up with, all right, go ahead. Give it your best shot. Let's see what you can come up with. Charlie did not shy away from my reply or the challenge before him. Instead, he took a different angle and started asking questions that would require action to answer. How heavy is the white mystery box? Why don't we examine it and look deeper into the things we can do with the white box just the way it is? I fell for it, of course, and I picked up the mystery box and started weighing it in the air against the gravity and found myself immediately puzzled. Well, I'm not exactly sure how to explain what I'm feeling while holding it. It's not really as heavy as a box this size would suggest it would be when you hold it, but it's also not as light as a feather or thread either. That's when I really wanted to know the answers about the mystery box. I was dying to know. Really, right from the time I saw it sitting outside my apartment door. When I first got home and found it. All right, then. What if you held the box and moved it side to side with a little velocity? What might you experience or discover about the box if you did that? My boyfriend said to me. I could not stop now. I had to know the answer to this too, so I did it. I held the mid-sized white box out front of me and with both my hands moved it back and forth, side to side, and began to feel and listen for any answers or clues about this mystery box and what it had in it for me to discover. So what is the box telling you when you do that? My boyfriend asked me. I'm not sure. I think I can hear something, like some kind of movement, but not a large or clunky movement, just that there might be more layers to this mystery box than what meets the eye when you look at it. I can't tell how much it weighs or how many other items or layers may be in the box, but I'm pretty sure it isn't one large item stuffing the box completely all on its own. But now I'm wondering if it was even meant to be a gift at all. Maybe it was just something I forgot somewhere when visiting someone or something related to my work. If you think it's a layered gift, is it possible that it may then be safe to open up the biggest part of this white mystery box without it spoiling what may be inside? Do you trust me? As your boyfriend, do you think I would lead you astray and try to deliberately ruin a possibly good surprise for you on purpose? Oh, Charlie, you're good. You're oh so very good. Don't you think you are ever so smart? Of course I wouldn't be with you if I knew you were that type of guy to sabotage something good for me. But you already know that. So now you are leaving me holding this box and what I have ascertained from its weight and moving it and what to do with these questions you've now laid out so perfectly for me to stew over to make my next decision from and move on. And that's when he did it. Sneaky mystery man of mine. Can you put the box down now and sleep on it? I shook my head while saying, no, because it had already gone unopened for so many hours and I was still holding it and couldn't make another move until I knew for certain what I wanted to do next. Charlie knew I was struggling. He could see that look on my face and me holding the box. Come on, darling. You know you want to do it. You know you want to know what's next to discover about your great white mystery box. After hearing him say those words, I couldn't do it, going longer without finding out the answer to what it was I felt and heard from holding and moving the white mystery box. So I took a deep breath of excitement, put the box back down on the kitchen island, and did what naturally came next for me to do. And I looked for where the opening was on the box, and when I found it, I broke the little tape that had kept it sealed and carefully, with one smooth swing and movement, opened the white mystery box and looked inside of it. Oh, I cleaned my house so it's allergies, dust, only to break out in hearty laughter and more smiling with what I discovered and saw was in it. Carefully placed tissue papers and styrofoam stuffers was in it, surrounding what, of course, was another mystery box. This one smaller size than the first. Immediately, it made me wonder if this was going to be a thing like those wooden Maastricht Dutch dolls with smaller dolls inside until they get too small to fit anymore. That's when I looked at Charlie again, but this time in a different light. One with an accusatory look on my face. You did this, didn't you? This is from you, isn't it, Charlie? Is this going to be like, Charlie cutting in said, like those wooden Maastricht Dutch doll type things? You were going to say, weren't you, honey? I know you very well. I can see it all over your face, and that's what makes us so perfect for one another. When you know things without needing to speak. Something happened today when you were away. I discovered something and I wasn't sure how to break it to you. So in order to get to the point of the answer to the mystery I'm seeking to solve, I thought I'd try and make it a little bit fun between us while getting there. Wait a minute, Charlie. Stop right there. Is that your polite way of saying that you were perhaps worried that I might be upset or mad at you or for this thing you discovered when I wasn't around? You do realize our being perfect for one another is definitely an understanding that goes both ways, and I certainly know you very well too. So what's the confession you have to make? Now, the suspense is killing me. I looked at the newly discovered smaller size mystery box and then looked up at and over at Charlie in silence, waiting for what comes next from both. Charlie, without wasting another moment of time, quickly and simply said, that answer will come with what you do next with this new mystery box and how we handle that, what's uncovered between us moving forward on that discovery in our wonderful relationship together. After hearing him say that, I realized there is nothing more I can do, nothing more to be understood. There is no looking back now. This is it. There is only going forward and moving ahead from here. Rain or shine, love or hate, it's a moment just like our first date was, and reconnecting after losing touch for so many years. It was in one way, of course, very exciting, and in another way, of course, just as terrifying. Because what if what I'm about to do next does not work out the way it was planned? Well, I said to myself, there's only one way to find out, rather than standing here and continuing to think too hard about it all. And that's when I focused back on what was inside the first mystery box and saw the new mystery box now staring back at me in the face. And without another hesitation, I took in a great big breath and dug in for the answers and opened this second mystery box. I broke out in more smiling and laughed, but not as bad as the first time when I saw yet again another mystery box. Yes, again, this one a little smaller than the second one. And that's when I turned to Charlie and said, I thought you said it wasn't going to be like this, the wooden dolls thing. Charlie, while smiling and laughing, answered with, It's not. The final manner of it all starts with a much bigger place than the smaller wooden doll, which cannot have anything else put in it. I promise the conversation coming is worth it. So I looked back into the two boxes now open and began to feel a little safer and easier as I went ahead and opened the newest unopened mystery box, looking back at me so nicely and peacefully. This time, what I saw inside, I did recognize. Nothing came to mind for me as the next words to say out loud except the words, uh-oh. Uh-oh. And then I looked back up over at Charlie. He said, Can I keep it? Brimming with love and joy and happiness and a glow about his face like I've never quite seen before on him. It reminded me of something much like a young child visiting a 1-cent candy store like it was back in the world when we were just little kids, getting $1 bill and buying 100 1-cent items and filling that brown paper bag just the right size for 100 candies right to the rim. So I knew right then, at that moment, I was in trouble if I didn't give him the right answer. I think I love him right now more than I have ever loved him, and I think I've always loved him, starting right back in high school when we first met. Junior high, technically. Anyways, won't go there. Will you read what's written on it to me? He asked softly. Speaking to me that way just then turned my heart to butter. How could I not give him everything that he clearly wanted? So I picked up the newest unopened black box with red and pink hearts all over it and opened it up and took out what was in it. I separated the styrofoam, keeping it safe, and then removed the plastic covering. It held the mug in my hands and read to my husband, I wish I could turn back the clock to find you sooner and love you longer. It may not be your first date, your first kiss, or your first love, but I just want to be your last everything. I love you forever and always, I went on to say. This is not how I wanted things to go. I was trying to plan this for the perfect moment so it would be just right. And that's when he said, Yeah, me too. What? I replied, confused. Then I looked inside the mug. I didn't find what I had put in that mug originally. So I looked back at him and said, Okay, where is it? He said, You mean this mystery box? With the frilly lace bow on top, which he by then had pulled out of his pocket. Don't worry, I didn't look. I knew that moment was needing you. Oh, Charlie, I said, as I looked at the one that's in the mug now and asked, Is this one for me? Yes, he replied. But I wanted to go first. It is the 21st century, after all. What's wrong with women doing it? Nothing, he said. Then he sighed and said, But everything, because I wanted to do it, so I could keep it traditional for you. But Charlie, haven't you had enough of trying to do it that way? Divorced 3 times, right? He sighed again and he had to admit the truth. Yes. And with that, I put my hand out and he put the mystery box in his hand in mine. And I said, Now, turn your right hand over and keep it out like that. And I got down on one knee and looked up at the man standing before me while I was holding the perfect box and opened it for him to see and said, Charlie Baker, will you marry me? And while he was shaking worse than a girl, he answered with his yes. And I took the ring out of the perfect little mystery ring box and put it on his right finger, right to the end with all my love, and it fit perfectly. Then he took his hand away and put it out in front of him. Well, it would be the right hand because we always make mistakes with using the left. And studied it with a gasp and admiration. And then he spoke the perfect words to my heart, ears, and soul. It's perfect. I love it. I will never take it off as long as I live. As he ended with a sigh of joy that this moment had finally found its way between the two of us. But it wasn't long before he said, okay, now it's your turn. And he told me to take the other perfect little white mystery box inside the mug out. And of course I did. And when he put his hand out for it, I gave it to him. And he did what naturally came next and got down on one knee and proposed right back to me as he took the lid off the final box, revealing what was in it, waiting for this perfect moment just for me. Honey, will you marry me? And as I answered with my yes, 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 Charlie Baker, of course I want to and would love to marry you. That is when those oh so famous tears of love and joy came streaming down my face. But amidst the joy and tears, I didn't forget to answer his question. I simply said, yes, 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 you can keep it. And I never, ever forgot the day of the occasion which I received the mystery box, as we, of course, went on to live happily ever after, to which he added, not a moment in time since has gone by that we ever regret. He was asking to keep the mug with the hearts on it and stuff. Okay, so I'm going to finish this up before I finish up. That's when the children all got on their feet and jumped up and down screaming, hooray! Then they ran to us with hugs, 1 on 1 and 2 on 2 and more until all 13 were done. While telling us how much they never ever get tired of listening to that story about how we all became a family and how their dad standing there holding his prized possession, that after all this time and so many moves is still in perfect condition, became the husband that the coffee mug came to be for before leaving the room to go on with doing other things the rest of their day. The end. So, written by me, Jennifer Cooley. Aha, Jennifer Baker. Okay, hang on. So here it is. The box in the story, Sweet Love, really does exist. Now, this is not in this box, but it is in the story. So I'm going to open it up, and as you can tell by the description in the story, there was indeed 2 pieces of styrofoam. And in that styrofoam, indeed, when you open it up, is absolutely a coffee mug. A special, special mug, which I never ever take out of its bag. Okay, so I'm taking it out of its bag, which literally does say, to my husband, I wish I could turn back the clock to find you sooner and love you longer. I may not be your first date, your first kiss, or your first love, but I just want to be your last everything. I love you forever and always. So it really does exist. And inside that is a little bag of other prototypes that Janet used in her story with Clark, trying to figure out how to protect him with the kryptonite. And of course, originally she was inspired by that whole Hercules ring thing. And so those 3 prototypes failed badly. And the secret to why she could remember everything is because she was secretly trying to figure out what to do to help him to not get injured or killed by people with the kryptonite, how to use the kryptonite in the right way safely, because it comes from his planet. It's what his planet was made from. So I just decided to take the prototype story idea and put them in the bag and shove it in the coffee mug, which is actually meant for Charlie Baker in the mystery box story I just shared with you guys. So in this coffee mug, in that story, he had removed this ring box from the coffee mug. And he had found the box while cleaning the china cabinet. So when he opened up and saw this was a part of that whole nightmare, he knew it was a problem. So he asked if he could keep the coffee mug. He wasn't talking about the mystery box per se. Now I have to remember how to put this back in here. So it's amazing how you can take trinkets like Ray Bradbury and Ray Bradbury Theater, which I loved watching, where I got inspired from, and actually get real inspiration to do real stories, fiction stories and stuff. And I never got to get married again, because that's the whole point of writing. The answer was no, about abuse being my entire life, and knowing that in my career, there's no way of getting out of the truth of the abuse I've lived through and how that connects to my work, and everything that's out there for people to eventually put all the pieces together too. There's no sense in hiding any of it, right? Because everybody will know in the end anyway. And there's just no reason for it. No point in keeping secrets and stressing out about something that, it's just life. You just have to live with it. And I love the fact that I have crossed a line and crossed a barrier from my life and my world that's never happened. And no one's ever survived the life I've lived through, and the things I've done to end up on the side of the Hollywood success, where all the big wigs are. Brendan Fraser, Quentin Tarantino, Martin Scorsese, Sylvester Stallone, Steven Spielberg. You know what I mean? So I'm very happy that I've reached that place, that I always knew to believe in myself, that I would be far, far beyond a little bit of theater and small theaters, stage environments, or TV episodes. I mean, Johnny Depp was one of the lucky few that went from TV into Hollywood fame and then went on to have a sweltering career success. Lots of people end up getting stuck in TV. I can't think of there's a few others that went from TV to movies and then never looked back. And then only now in their older years are they choosing to do a little bit of stuff back in TV world, because they can slow down and do that, right? So that's it. That's the story of the mystery box, that the actual coffee mug does exist. And I have never met that special someone to give it to. And I just thought, because this is the Valentine's weekend and this next 5 days, I'm going to be having fun with my favorite dog, Myra, which you'll see in little skits on my videos of enjoying my Valentine's weekend with her, my barking partner, the vagina dog. So she's my protector, my defender, and I'm going to do like treats, and we're going to have fun with just learning how to do different things. She loves to have the intellectual challenge. She's very good. So I'm going to put this stuff away. And I'm now going to go fly out the door and put up some more positivity dog walking flyers. I'm going to stay away from scripture stuff today, because you just can't do that all day long, every day. In spite of how bad crime is, you have to sort of just let God do his God thing and pray that everything works out. So I'm going to go enjoy the sunshine. Peace out, everybody. Thanks for listening to both of these videos, and get these out there, make them viral. Let's see if we can make Future Productions so much more than what we've been watching happen as the banana peels away over in Hollywood, and they realize that it's time to make changes. Let's do this together and make it better. So enjoy your day, guys. Stay warm, stay well, stay safe. Peace out, everybody. Superwoman. Future Productions, Now TV, signing out from Gatineau, Quebec. Bye.